Hi, everyone, and welcome to Who Threw the Curve. And today we have Randy again, of course, coming out of Delaware. And what's your dog's name again?
Fred.
Fred. Oh, Fred. And
Fred
Fred's
Ray.
going to be with us. Mr. Ducky took a break, and myself, Robert, coming at you from the Lower East Side. And we're going to talk, and this is probably our first baseball topic, which I've been dying to do. And we got Randy, who is a baseball fanatic as well. I mean, he likes the Phillies, but we can't hate him for that. And we're
Remember
going to
that
talk
shit
about
on statement you talk about all the time?
what's
Remember that
that?
shit on statement you talk about?
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about an article. We're not gonna say on the article itself, but we're gonna talk about the person that Bernie Williams suggested that he make a choice on what position he should play. And we're talking about Shohei Ohtani out of California Angels, who
Yes.
I don't think there was anybody like him to do this since Babe Ruth. Theoretically, he pitches and he hits. And not only does he
Yes,
hit
sir.
and pitch, but he does both phenomenally. Like he's an all-star in both categories.
He
So now, go ahead.
unfortunately he just suffered a second UCL tear, and he's getting a second opinion. Young man's gonna have to have another Tommy John surgery. And it's interesting because I was listening to WIP on the way to work. It's a station I listen to all the time.
Right.
I'm out of Philadelphia Sports Talk. And they were saying that Ike Reese was saying, and Hugh Jackson were both saying that the demands on the body, just being a pitcher, that's why all they do is pitch. And the normal player, all they do is they'll concentrate on pitching. They don't hit. They don't do nothing. And I had a buddy that I went to high school with that got drafted and was playing for the Red Sox minor leagues. And he said that he was a pitcher, and he said he would get fined if he was ever caught picking up a bat. They would fine him. But anyway, back to what they were saying on WIP. I think it's coming down to a point with Shohei that he's going to have to pick what does he love bet more? Does he love hitting 45, 50 home runs a year, 120 RBIs, playing the outfield, or does he love stepping in, throwing every fourth day, fifth day, throwing 8 innings of shutdown ball? He's going to have to make a decision because the demands on the body as it just being a pitcher and just being a everyday outfielder. That's at the major league level. I mean, the
Right.
guy's ready to sign probably a $600,000 contract over 8 years. The demands on the body for being both is just too much for one human to sustain unless you're, in a different, just on a different level physically. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense only because I played baseball as a kid and pretty much a lot of my young life. I played some college ball. I played some high school ball. So I know I was a catcher. I wasn't a pitcher, but
Even worse, bud, your knees.
I understand. I understand the toll that your body gets. But in his case, I mean, the dude has an average in 3 years, 2.84 ERA.
Yes.
Not only that, he has an average of, I think it's 45 homers within those 3 years on a yearly basis. And what is it, 106 RBIs?
Yeah.
So
He's already got it, and he already got an MVP award. He's already won MVP once, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
so, and he,
no, go ahead.
yeah, what's that?
No, go ahead.
And he's been in the running of the Cy Young. So I mean, there's no denying that he is a generational talent. There's no denying that he is a very likable, young man. But there's no denying that he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, eventually you're right. Eventually something's going to happen because if you're pitching and hitting, he would have been a dream player for the National Leagues when they had the pitchers hitting, but they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And see, he wouldn't be able to play in the National League because after he steps in there, and back then you throw 8-9 innings, you throw 110 pitches a game,
Yeah.
throw 110 pitches Monday night, and then Tuesday night you're out playing left field.
Or
Meanwhile,
no,
you're
in
like
that
water
case,
hose.
you'll be DHing.
There's no D. Yeah, nowadays there's a DH. There's no
Yeah, before there
DH
was the
back.
pitcher hit. You're right.
Yeah, so imagine that, man. Like I said, I think as a fan, and sounding greedy is all get out, I would prefer to see him do one or the other, and I think I'm going to get the best Shohei Ohtani for the next 5 to 10 years as a fan. If he's hitting, I think he should hit. I get to see him play the outfield, his speed, and the way he glides through the ground. I mean, all of that. He's good. He's fun to watch. I
No,
get to see as a fan. I get to see all that. I get to see the home runs, the clutch hitting, the jet, putting the hat on, all that stuff. I get to see that for the next 5 or 10 years, and I can see it at the high level that makes him great. Versus if he continues to take split duty pitching and hitting, both are going to decline. One may be a little bit better than the other, but both are going to decline to a level that it's going to take away from him because he's so gifted. So I'd rather him harness all that into one and go at it. Can you imagine just concentrating on hitting what that rascal could do?
oh,
Oh my
absolutely.
gosh, it would be, and he's not on steroids, brother.
I think that I literally thought in the beginning when he just started on his home run tear, I literally thought he was going to reach Barry Bond and beat
Yeah,
his
I did too.
record. There is no doubt in my mind that if he does decide to uh, just be a hitter and play the field, he will. I think if anybody, he will definitely be Barry Bonds, and it'll be a legit because, like you said,
Yeah,
he's not on roids. Barry
yeah,
Bonds, great player. The funny thing is, I'm going to jump off the subject a little bit. Barry Bonds was actually an all-around player when he wasn't on roids. I don't know if you remember when he was at Pittsburgh.
yeah. The
He used to
short bat,
steal.
he was in the sticks. He looked like a couple of bats up on the plate,
Yeah,
didn't he? He
he
looked
used to
like,
steal bases, hit home runs, hit for average, run
yeah.
those bases like nothing. And then he started doing roids. Of course, he got more walks, he got more home runs, but he couldn't steal a base because he couldn't run anymore.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying?
He couldn't.
Where this Otani, he's not on roids, at least not that we know of. Maybe they got some new Japanese shit that we don't know
Watch it.
about.
Watch it.
I'm just saying,
Meanwhile, back on the ranch.
But for now, until it is until they detect it, this guy is like a phenomenon. It's like we haven't seen
Yeah.
anything like this since
Since
like Babe Ruth.
now, Ken Griffey Jr. didn't pitch, but the way he played, like imagine if Ken Griffey Jr. the last 8 years of his career, he didn't get hurt.
Right,
He would have what he would have been.
right.
But I know he didn't play two positions, but this is a next generational Ken Griffey Jr. If Shohei concentrates just on hitting. We got a Japanese version of Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah,
And man, just imagine Ken Griffey the last 8 years he couldn't be on the field. And he still
yeah.
hit over 600 home runs, brother.
And the thing is, as big as Otani is, he could run. He could steal bases too.
Yes. He's like, I mean, he's like an artist. Like, I'm gonna give an example. My wife, she never watched UFC in her life until we got together. And now she really likes it. And we were watching Israel Adesanya. He's probably our favorite right now. We watched a couple fights that he won, then we watched him lose, and then watched him win the title back. But my wife was like, he's beautiful. I'm like, well, what do you mean he's beautiful? And she was like, look at him, just how he moved. I mean, he was just systematically pick. He was just so much on another level. The
Right,
other
right,
guy
right,
would
right.
throw, he would dip, and he was just like an artist. And that's the way Shohei. I haven't seen anything like this since Griffey Jr. As far as
No,
how,
yeah.
I mean, I'm saying Shohei, he could, and man, he needs to pick between one or the other. And
And not
pitching,
only
I don't
that,
see him with two Tommy Johns doing the pitching.
for those people who've never seen Randy Johnson pitch, he throws like Randy Johnson.
Yes, he slings that sucker up there, man.
Remember Randy Johnson?
Yes,
You
throwing over
couldn't
John
hit him.
Cook's head in the All-Star game. Remember that?
Yeah.
Killing the bird. Remember he pitched the ball in New York and
Yep.
killed the bird?
Yeah, yeah.
Bird was flying by. He throws a pitch and
So
bam.
he's like, it's gonna be interesting to see. There's a lot of, I mean, obviously in baseball, especially today, maybe in me growing up in the '80s and the '70s, I'm sure you remember, pitchers used to pitch complete games. There was no pitch count. You used to throw a whole
Yeah.
game, and if you did not throw a whole game, you felt like you didn't pitch. Not
Yeah.
not like today. They're pulling pitchers out in 6 innings after
Fourth,
100
fifth
pitches.
inning. Five
You
and
know,
2/3 is a game.
so in today's times, he would definitely have to pick and choose what he wants to play. Back in if he played in the '80s and '70s, he would have been a pitcher hitter,
Yeah.
easy.
Like Pete
Because
Rose was a player manager, remember?
oh yeah,
The
don't
Reds.
mention
Remember
Pete. We're
that?
gonna have to do a session on Pete Rose because they got to
Yeah.
get this. They got to get him in the Hall of Fame.
That disgusts me.
That's so
And
much
I'm going to
bullshit.
tell you, I'll get off subject. That interview Jim Gray did at the
Yeah,
All-Star game when they had the 50 best players back in the 90s and
yeah.
what he did to Pete. I mean, everybody knew Pete did what he did, man. But so what, man? He made a mistake. But anyway, the way Jim Gray, I've never been able to stomach Jim Gray since then.
Yeah,
I loathe that man.
yeah. We're gonna do a show on that.
Took
Gotta
the
remind
nerve
me.
there, man. Yeah.
That's definitely a one we had to have
Yeah.
on Pete Rose's behalf. I met Pete Rose a couple of times.
Yeah.
Nice guy, really
Great
nice
guy.
guy.
He's a
You
he's
know,
a he's a guy, man. He
but
is him.
what they're doing to him, and how it's funny how other people are going to the Hall of Fame and have done supposedly worse, but they're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know,
He gambled, man. A victimless crime.
you know, half of the New York Mets in '86 was snorting coke, but they're all going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah,
drinking,
this one football player was talking about he would carry his syringe and his stuff in his jock and go out there practicing, doing his camp, run to the porta potty, pull his syringe out of his jock, shoot up dope.
Lawrence, you ever hear Lawrence talk about when he's interviewed on when he was playing with the Giants? Half of the time he used to take breaks to sniff. But all these people are going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Why? What's so wrong with what Pete Rose did? So
And
what?
look, and still, even though those boys did cocaine or did steroids, Rui, there's 100-mile-an-hour ball being thrown your way. And the fact that you can swing that bat quick enough and hit it that far with a wooden bat?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you said that because I'm a big believer, and I stand by this only because I played ball. Not everybody can play ball at a certain level.
Ooh.
I could probably never be a major league player. I could be a good player, maybe in the minor leagues, but I cannot be a major league player. And there is no drugs that I can inject in myself that's going to make me a better player because you have to be born with that eye, especially to hit.
And the speed, you got to be born with the physical features to do it. That's the truth.
Sure. That is the truth. And there is no drug enhancement that's going to make you a better player if you suck. If you suck,
Exactly. If you suck, you suck, man. And you don't get no participation trophy.
No.
None of that. If you suck, you suck. And that's what I'm saying. These guys are still hitting the ball from the greatest pitchers on earth daily. Right. So steroids may throw out a few extra feet down there, may come for some ones hitting in Covey Cove.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, the son bum was still hitting balls for miles when he was two Louisville sluggers up at the plate.
Absolutely.
For legs and arms. He was still running like a deer, like a scouted dog, and he was still catching anything hitting his way. So he's a Hall of Famer. Kurt Schilling still went on the mound with stitches coming out of his ankle.
That's right.
And threw 8 just powerful innings. Roger Clemens, man, the Rocket. You're not putting him in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
It's because, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
All steroids are going to do for him is lengthen his career. But the numbers he had before that made him a Hall of Famer.
And you're right on point with that. That's a good thing that you mentioned that. Roger Clemens' numbers before he started doing roids were the best numbers ever.
He's Hall of Famer right there.
And you know what? So what? He injected a little bit to just play a little longer. So what?
Sammy Sosa is one that I can not 100% agree with.
Well, no, you're right. Because Sammy Sosa was an average player.
Yeah, and when
He
Juice
was
come
just
on,
he was just above. He was literally he was just above triple A. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Remember the
I think I think in his case, I think roids did enhance his hitting. Obviously, to play the field, it slowed him down. But his hitting,
he was a very solid defender.
Remember him and Mark McGwire that year?
Yeah. Now Mark McGwire, another one. He was a Bass brother before that. He was hitting bombs out the yard from anywhere. He was hitting any porch you put him on. He was hitting bombs out the yard. Okay.
And
Mark McGwire, Bass brother with Canseco. So he had Hall of Fame numbers before, Big Mac Alley in St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? He had them. He's a Hall of Famer.
But going back to the subject, we're going to talk about that though. Remind me. Going back to the subject, he eventually is going to have to make a choice only because the toll on his body is going to be too much.
Yes.
He could continue doing that, but his career is going to be shortened because eventually,
by 10 years.
Yeah, and he's a big dude, so
yeah, he'll fall off in the next 3 years. Really, he'll fall off.
Yeah,
and it don't take a rocket scientist to see that.
Either he's gonna have to make a decision, or he just keep chewing those Japanese herbs.
I don't know. Japanese people do Japanese folks age. I spent a year in Korea in the military, and I got to go over to Japan to play in a softball tournament.
Right.
And the culture, man, is so. I mean, everything. It's a beautiful place. I mean, they have their rough spots, of course, but the way they take care of themselves with the tea and they do all the whatever
right.
The martial arts over there, that's a big thing mentally. Lots of martial artists that are really good, especially the Asian folks. Look at them. They age very well. They're in great shape. They got a sound mind. They're happy.
Well, it's a funny thing that you say that, and I'm just going to chime in quickly, is because I was reading, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, that a lot of these Asian players, Japanese, even Chinese players, Korean players, what they all have in common, and they're really good hitters, what they all have in common is they practice meditation and their patience is off the hook. And part of hitting is being patient.
Yes, that's the big thing. The patience, and with the Asian players, they just you don't see they take such better care of their body and their spirit.
Oh, absolutely.
They just do, man, and it's just I think it's amazing, and it's amazing what we're going to be able to see out of this young man, and I pray that he chooses to. It just makes no sense to go with pitching because he's going to be doing his second Tommy John.
Yeah,
so stick with the hitting. Get up there, get your money, stay humble the way he already is, and keep that. He's got that big infectious smile, man. I ain't got a man crush on him. He's just a good dude. He's a good dude. He's good for the game. And if you love baseball, then you love Shohei Ohtani. That's like if you're a real, true football fan, you can't have nothing but respect for Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
I mean, agree. You can't. These Cal Ripken, all the years he played, never took a day off. You may hate him, but you got to respect them. And that's the thing that Shohei Ohtani, he's a generational talent, man. I hope he picks the hit.
Well, with that said, you heard it from Randy Shohei. Just keep hitting.
Yes, keep hitting.
And with that said, we'll see you on our next segment. And don't forget, if you're following us, or if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. And you guys been doing a great job with subscribing. Don't forget to share wherever else you're at. Don't forget to like us and to also participate. Don't forget, you could always comment in the comment section. But also don't forget that if you shit on me, you're done. Just everybody can shit on me, but just I hope you're able to take the shit back.
And I got his back too, so don't make my man. My
with,
homie.
with that said, thank you, and we'll catch you on the next segment.